All right. So this message today is directed to the women of the women who are mums and who the father of their children is in recovery, alcoholic or addict dads. And so if you're a woman and you're listening to this, I'll give you a little background. I've been running, I ran a program earlier this year. I'm going to run another one in September for dads in recovery. And so if you got a guy, maybe you're with him, maybe you're not with him, and he's the father of your children and he's in recovery. I got some questions for you. I want to talk to you actually. I interviewed 50 men before I did my last course, and women have been coming to me and saying, what about, do you want to hear our side of the story, or do you want to hear our experience? And so, yes, I do. I want to hear from the women. And also, maybe if you married an alcoholic or you had a child with an alcoholic or an addict, and or if your dad was an alcoholic or an addict, it seems often, and also it may be that you are an alcoholic and an addict in recovery. So any of those things or all of them, I'd like to hear from you. I want to talk to you. I want to spend 20 minutes or 20 minutes to an hour on the phone, and I want to hear and learn from you what it's like to have children with an addict or an alcoholic. Is he a mature man? Is it working? What does it mean? Is he a mature man? Do you trust him? Those are questions that I want to talk about. Yeah, is it important that your kids have a dad who's active? We call it a hands-on father. Many of the men that I've worked with and that I've I interviewed 50, like I say, but I did the last course. I had 14 fellas in it, and it was hard for some of them, because a good portion of them didn't have a dad themselves, or their dad was an alcoholic, and boy, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right? It doesn't fall far from the tree. So if you have kids with an addict or an alcoholic, the chances of your kids being an alcoholic or an addict are huge. Like, I don't have the exact statistics, but if you're around in this world, you know it. And will it be important when your kids, are when addiction comes knocking at their door? Will it be important to have a mature dad in their lives? How do we include dad? And maybe if you feel that dad shouldn't be included, I want to talk to you too. So how do we do this? I want to know everything there is to know from your perspective. If you're a woman, and you're with a dad, like I have this, I'm hoping to, my result with working with dads is to help them become mature men in relationship with their children, to help them be, loving, consistent, available, right? Trusted, but I think I really need the support of the women in my audience. So this is not for you, like you're not one of them, or you don't feel that you want to talk about it. That's okay. Who do you know? Share this video with them. Make some comments on this video and tell me what you think. This next course I'm going to do, I have room for 20 men. I have some, probably I don't have room for that many, because there's some already said they want to be part of it, and it's going to be September 13th. And so I'm going to, my goal is to interview 50 women before that. that fit the criteria I just mentioned. So that's it. You know, um, if you think it's a good idea that I talk to the women, just say, yeah, this is a great idea, David. You know, or and if you want to refer some women to me, um, I'd appreciate that. So that's really it today. You know, I love doing what I'm doing, working with men. I don't think there's anything more important, in my opinion, than having an available, loving, mature dad for our children. You know, and I, you know, where's dad get his advice? You know, it's a crazy thing. You know, I just got off the phone from talking to a lady who's been helping me a lot with this, and you know, said that, well, it's different with women in many ways because, you know, and I know this is stereotyping, but I'm just gonna say it anyway. I mean, lots of times little girls are playing house since they're 3, you know, and they have little baby dolls and they're practicing, you know, to be a mom one day. And I mean, it's not everybody, and I don't want to stereotype. And right, so there they are practicing. They're playing house, and then they get a guy like me. I mean, I was not a good pick when my daughter was born. I was 24, and you know, still in deep in my addiction. It was you know, I was just not a good pick, and I had no idea how to be a husband or a father. But now it's 40, almost 42 years later. It's a in recovery anyway. I've been almost 42 years in recovery and have 3 kids, and you know, I've learned a thing or two about, you know, being a mature man, and although that took a long time, long time, and I still think I'm growing as a mature man, but I didn't have any. I never played house. Jesus, you know, I didn't know anything about raising kids. I didn't know anything about. My dad wasn't that active. My mom was really angry, you know, and so I, I think I find a lot of men, you know, who are just kind of winging it, wishing a prayer, you know, scared to death, and don't want to admit they're scared to death because they, the society kind of tells us we should know how to do this, right? And so men don't often have anywhere to turn for support, and so there's a pain point there. There's like, holy shit, how do I do this? Am I doing okay? And they don't know who to talk to. And so a lot of times, I know this happened for me. I was getting my advice on being a dad from the mothers. I had married 2 women and had children with 2 women, and I was getting my advice on being a dad, and they were never really that happy with how I was doing the job. Yeah, thank God I found some men and who helped to point me, and who were also dads that were good dads, and you know, and that was helpful. And but anyway, where's your husband or the father of your children getting his support as a dad? One of the things that we do is I put men through this initial course, and then they join like a Facebook group for, it's, you know, private group for dads in recovery, so they can, you know, bounce things off each other, and I can continue to support them for hopefully for years to come. So anyway, let me know what you think. I'd like to know your experience. I could ramble about this all day. I love this subject. I think society needs dads to show up, and I think that dads, you know, many times come up with this idea. They're dads in recovery or new in recovery, or they're really struggling with recovery, and they get this idea that maybe their kids would be better off without them, and they take off, you know, or they just don't show up. They're afraid, and I want to help those men. Okay, love you guys so much. I want to hear from you. Okay, and share this with some women that you think might have some input. Okay, love you lots. Bye.